Greetings, Snow Disciples, and welcome to the Snow Church video for Monday, January 30th. Can you believe it? We're here at the almost last day of January already. And I got to stay home for the live snow shot of the day. Most folks living on this planet know. A lot of folks watching these videos should know exactly what this is. This is the Portage Lake Lift Bridge. And Houghton and Hancock are getting pounded right now. They picked up about 11-12 inches of snow soon after daybreak. And it's still been coming down at an inch or two an hour. So it's piling up down there. It's piling up in Calumet. I did not check the cams further north. They get a little bit more sparse. I did notice that it's not snowing very heavily in the Twin Lakes area. And I can report that it's not snowing very heavily here in beautiful downtown scenic Jacobsville. So there is a dominant band set up from roughly the Houghton Hancock area on north towards Calumet and maybe even up further north than that right now. And that is going to be the area that gets the majority of the snow this week. Yes, sir. The winds are going to stay out of the direction that they're in right now. For the most part, there will be some fluctuation in the snow or in the winds as we go through the week. But if you're looking for the heaviest snow by the end of the week, you won't have to look any further than the dear old Keweenaw. We're finally climbing back on top of the snow pile here. So let's get out of this thing if we can. Yes, we can. Certainly we can. And jump to the satellite and radar. The board is a little slow today. Here you can actually see that dominant band. I will zoom in on it. And of course, lake effect snow is not picked up very well by radar across the Keweenaw just because it's so low. You have the curvature of the earth, and then you've got some hills just to the north and west of the radar dome there in Keweenaw Township. Everybody thinks it's the Huron Mountains. Not so, says the National Weather Service employees in Marquette. They say it's the hills just beyond the airport, and I believe them because they know what they're talking about. So there is the radar. Still some snows hanging on across northern Illinois and southern lower Michigan, although all that activity is very, very light. See if I can bring up the... Oh, this is what I wanted to do. I don't know what is going on with this board today. It is being a bugger. And these maps, oh look, it has updated. Glory be. Glory be. But I want 72 hour. I'm sorry for my unpreparedness. Okay, this is snowfall over the last 3 days, basically over the weekend, and we can see that swath of snow that was predicted for central Iowa, far northern Illinois into southern Wisconsin and southern lower Michigan panned out. And these are the lake effect snows that fell within the last probably 12 to 18 hours or so. And of course the mountains got hammered pretty good. So good for them. Now, going to the models, guess what? I don't have to use the US view. You know, I wish that there was a view that showed the entire Midwest. But there's either this one called the Great Lakes, which does a pretty good job, but it cuts off western sections of Minnesota and Iowa, which I don't particularly like. And then there's another one that actually it just cuts off the Keweenaw, which I really don't like for personal reasons, but don't like that one either. So that's why I can't, that's why I show the US view so often. But here we are, Great Lakes view, and we can watch as we go through the week. It's primarily the Keweenaw. I mean, there is some snows that get in to the Porkies and down towards Mass City, Rockland area as well. And here we'll get out towards, well, it'll take us all the way through the end of the week. Here is, this by the way, is the GFS or the European model. All right, so this is like Friday night. And you can see where the lion's share of the snowfall is going to occur. Might not be a bad time to head up to those riding areas of Ontario just to the east of Lake Superior. Might not be a bad idea to head up to the Keweenaw either. They're going to get some decent, we're going to get some pretty decent snows. And you know what, even Northwest Lower Michigan is going to do all right. All right? All right. That was, oh, I'm going to back it up. You know, in my write-up, in my forecast, I talk about a clipper system coming down by, what is it, like Monday of next week. The European doesn't really have that. It just has more lake effect snows occurring. So, but at this point, I'm thinking that that clipper is probably somewhat of a reality. This is the GFS model, or the United States model, US model. And same thing basically through the week. I guess I can bring it down a little bit more. All right. Need to back it up a little bit. This is Friday night, Saturday morning. Same thing. You can see where the banding of snow. GFS is more aggressive about allowing those snows to kind of hook into the eastern UP, even impacting areas from like gotta remember not to touch the board. Well, Munising is right here, so let's call it Pictured Rocks. It's one of my locales, regional areas that I use. Pictured Rocks to Paradise. In this case, it'd be Pictured Rocks to the Sioux. This might be a little bit overdone, but nonetheless, you can bank on the snows in the Keweenaw and probably even bank on the snows in Whitefish Point, but this isn't a very big area. Obviously, Paradise is there. Some beautiful things there, the Tequamanon Falls, but you don't want to stay in a 10-mile radius and ride that all weekend long or all vacation long. So I guess we'll just have to watch and see if this pans out. But then let's bring her forward, and then here is that clipper system for Sunday, Monday. See how there's barely anything here, and then all of a sudden, boom shakalaka. Anywhere between about 3 inches down here to 7-8 inches by the time you're up towards the Wisconsin border, and Northwest Lower gets it pretty good. So it'd be nice if that clipper system Monday panned out, because you know we still got a riding several weeks, 3, 4, 5 weeks of solid riding season left. As we get into March, that sun angle, sun's energy starts to get pretty strong. So not that the season's over, certainly isn't over for the Keweenaw most years, but as you start getting further and further south, places that don't get as much snow as, say, the snow belts of the UP start to, you know, get a little iffy as we go through March. But at any rate, that's the situation there. And just for funsies, let's run it all the way out. All the way out. Let it all the way out. All right, that's 16 days worth of snowfall forecasted, and not a bad looking map if I do say so myself. But again, it's 16 days. Let's take it like 5 days with any kind of real confidence and end it after that. All right, what do we got next? We've got upper air. And it's pretty encouraging as well, because here's our polar vortex. This is what we want to see going on over North America. And watch, it tries to go away, but then it re-energizes itself as we go through the period. So see, right about here, it tries to go away, and this would be a very, very scary looking scenario. But you know what? It's only 120 hours out. So things beyond this time frame are still in that fairly believable, as far as large scale upper air features go, time period. And look what happens. It comes back. It comes back. Look at that. There it is again. So we could certainly have, you know, a milder temperature regime as we get in towards the weekend and next week, which is good. Right now we're only 2 above. Schools are closed because of the snows and the winds and just the weather features up here. First day with no school in the Keweenaw, and here we are 1 day away from being at the end of January. A lot of times we're worried about using up all of our snow days by the time we get to the end of January. Here we are only using the first one. That's how incredulous this winter has been so far. So I guess the bottom line is I'm pretty encouraged by the pattern going out through the middle of February. This takes us to the 15th of February, and here's that polar vortex sitting right back over, ridging in Alaska. And then if we went further west, we would see that that Siberian low is basically over the coastal areas or the Kamchatka Peninsula. So pretty encouraging upper air forecast. Again, you know, you go out pretty far. You can't believe it 100%, but I do like what I see. And big features like this usually are handled well by the models. It's the smaller things that the models have problems with. And, oh, this was the radar. So, I guess, all in all, it's a pretty encouraging forecast, especially if we can get that clipper system in by the Monday time frame or so of next week, freshen up snows across all the Northwoods. Otherwise, pretty quiet outside of the lake effect snow belts this week, and even some of the lake effect snow belts, like those at the far western end of the Lake Superior, fairly quiet. They will get some snows, I think, but it's really going to be the Keweenaw that accumulates the snows as we go through this week. So that'll do it for today, folks. Have a fantastic day. I will talk to you again tomorrow, and keep those sticks on the ice.